Every season, the NFC changes hands, not because of headlines, not because of history, but because of quarterback structure. And tonight, we're breaking it all down. So welcome to Football is Money. Let the show begin. All right, welcome back to Football is Money. And over the last few episodes, we've gone division by division across the entire NFC and broke down how each race is shaping up heading into the season. Now that those projections are finished, it's time to zoom out and look at the entire conference picture. Tonight, I've taken the liberty of ranking all 16 quarterbacks and their situation, and I had to build the Football is Money quarterback power structure for this conference. Now, understand, this isn't about who's winning the division. It's not about who won a Super Bowl, and it's not legacy ranking. Because when a quarterback wins a championship, Super Bowl, the assumption the next season is that he's automatically the best quarterback in the conference. And historically, that's not always how it works. Sometimes quarterbacks carry a team to Super Bowls, but sometimes they're operating inside of strong systems. All right. And that means, they're along for the ride, right? There are Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have no Super Bowl ring, right? And there are quarterbacks with rings who never reach the gold jacket level, right? So championships do matter, but they don't define quarterback structure heading into the season, all right? This board is about projection value. Which quarterbacks are most likely to lead high-powered offenses, win fantasy weeks for you, and help you cash tickets more weeks than not? And who's going to outperform expectations during this 2026 season? So I grouped every NFC quarterback situation into 4 tiers based on how much impact they realistically have on the conference right now. So starting at the bottom of the board here in tier 4, these are the quarterback situations that are still figuring themselves out right now. Not saying that there's no talent here, but this is more about direction than ability. At number 16, Arizona with Jacoby Brissett. And this is more of a short-term stability situation while the long-term direction continues to take shape. It's steady, but it's still a developing quarterback environment overall. Number 15, we got New Orleans with Tyler Shuck. This might actually be the most interesting situation in this group because if that offense stabilizes early, this is one that could move very fast. This placement reflects how quickly things around him can come together. At number 14, we got Atlanta, Tua Tagovailoa, Michael Penix Jr. Now, that's another situation where things could shift quickly depending on how that offense finds its rhythm. There's talent in the room, but until their group proves itself week to week, it stays in this transition range for me. Number 13, Minnesota. Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, and now Carson Wentz is in their quarterback room as well. That tells me that this organization is keeping their flexibility open at quarterback while they continue defining their long-term direction. There's upside here, but everybody trying to settle in right now. So looking at tier 4 overall, this is where I expect the most movement on this board once these offenses start showing what they are and who they are early in the season. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to tier 3. Now, these are quarterbacks that can absolutely produce strong weeks, but their ceiling still depends on how their offenses develop across the season. At number 12, we got Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers. This offense is still settling into its identity, but the direction is becoming clearer. If their progress continues early, this placement has room to rise. The ability has always been there. At number 11, we have Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. We've already seen him operate in this offense and have success doing so. His placement here reflects how closely his production is tied to how stable their system remains across a full season. At number 10, Jackson Dart with the Giants. And this situation depends heavily on roster health and offensive rhythm. At number 9, we got J-Lo up in Green Bay. This is probably the most stable environment in this tier right now. The continuity is there. The identity is there. And if that offense takes another step forward collectively, this placement can move higher as well. So tier 3 represents quarterbacks capable of strong production weeks, but their season-long consistency still depends on how those offenses settle week to week. Climbing higher into tier 2. This is where quarterbacks begin shaping division races across the conference. At number 8, J.G. Jared Goff in Detroit. This is one of the most stable offensive environments anywhere in the conference. That continuity shows up across the full season and keeps the quarterback position firmly in this range on the board. At number 7, Sam Darnold, Super Bowl winning Sam Darnold in Seattle. This placement reflects how strong that environment already is around him. And when a quarterback operates inside a system that supports efficiency week to week, production usually follows. At number 6, we got Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders. This is one of the fastest rising offensive environments in the conference as well. As organizations build around their quarterback the right way, movement across the board can happen quickly, and Washington is one of those situations to watch. Keep your eye on them. Let's see, at number 5, we got Caleb Williams. So this is one of the highest upside offensive environments anywhere in the NFC right now. If that group continues developing the way it's trending, this placement has rooms to climb because the ceiling of that offense is still rising. So tier 2 represents quarterback whose offenses can control division outcomes if things stay on track during the regular season. And when you reach tier 1, this is where the quarterbacks usually start shaping what the NFC picture looks like later in the season. At number 4, we got Matthew Stafford, Matt Stat in Los Angeles. This is one of the most experienced and reliable offensive systems in this conference. When they are operating the way it's built to operate, the Rams stay competitive very deep into the year. At number 3, we got Jalen Hurts in Philly. This is one of the strongest quarterback-centered offensive identities anywhere in the NFC. Their system keeps Philadelphia positioned to control games across a full season, long as everything is meshing together. At number 2, we got Brock Purdy, San Francisco. This is one of the most efficient offensive systems in the conference year after year. When they are functioning the way it normally does, production follows consistently. And at number 1, man, we got Dak Prescott in D-Town. This placement reflects one of the most dependable weekly production environments in the conference right now. When that offense is operating in rhythm, scoring opportunity shows up consistently across the full season. So tier 1 represents the group most likely to shape how the conference unfolds late in the year. Now, after walking through the entire board, what this really shows is where stability lives across the NFC. And stability usually decides who's still playing later in the year. Across the conference landscape, the NFC East has a real chance to become the NFC Beast again. There's 4 quarterback situations from their division sitting inside the top 10 on this board. And when that kind of depth shows up at the position, it usually shapes the playoff path in a major way. The NFC West continues to look like one of the strongest quarterback divisions in football. 3 of the quarterback environments sit inside the top 10 as well. And that kind of concentration usually keeps that division competitive deep into the season also. The NFC North is one of the most interesting divisions on the board right now because things are shifting. Detroit brings stability. Chicago brings one of the highest ceilings in the conference, and Minnesota is still selling this long-term direction. There are 3 quarterback situations from the NFC North sitting inside the top 10 as well, which tells you that the race could tighten quickly as the season develops. And the NFC South right now is the division with the most untapped potential. There's talent across those quarterback rooms, but 3 of those situations sit in the bottom tier of this board, which means movement is very possible once those offenses start showing what they actually are. So, this board isn't just showing quarterback placement. It's showing where the conference power structure is starting to concentrate heading into the season. And that's the Football is Money quarterback power structure across the NFC right now today. All right, and a quick update on the giveaway that we are doing, the $100 giveaway that we are doing. Now, remember, anybody can enter. All you have to do is sign up at footballismoney.com and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. That gets your name on the wheel. But that's just your base entry, all right? For the people that are really locked in with the show, every time you answer the show question, whatever episode you're watching, with a real football take connected to what the episode is talking about, you can earn bonus entries, all right? And that's how we reward the people who are actually a part of the conversation here. So it's not just about saying I subscribe or add me. I'm going to add you to that as long as you subscribe and sign up to the channel. But if you want to have an advantage over everybody else, you have to stay active, stay engaged, and remember, stay locked in. And next week we spin the wheel, right? So before we close this thing out, man, I want to leave you with a few nuggets that you can carry into your drafts, that you can keep with you when you're placing your tickets for the season ahead. All right, now before we close this one out, let's finish with a few quick takeaways coming off this NFC quarterback structure board. So when it comes to fantasy, one thing this board tells me right away is where the weekly ceiling quarterbacks are sitting, right? When you're building fantasy rosters this season, pay attention to quarterbacks operating inside stable offensive systems with volume upside, all right? Because those are the players most likely to win weeks for you, not just manage the game. And from a betting perspective, quarterback structure usually shows up in team totals before it shows up in the standings. So keep an eye on offenses attached to tier 1 and tier 2 quarterbacks when those season props and weekly totals start shaping the market, because that's where value usually appears. All right. And the mindset takeaway from this board is simple. Don't chase the headlines, chase the structure. The team with the clearest quarterback structure usually gives you the clearest edge across a full season, right? So we just mapped out the NFC quarterback power structure heading into 2026. Next up, we're doing the same thing on the AFC side. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are signed up at footballismoney.com. And we'll see you on the next episode, man. I'm your host. They call me Boss. This is Football is Money, and thank you for watching and staying locked in. And we are.
That's a wrap. Thanks for listening to Football is Money. Find every episode and more at footballismoney.com.